Hi, this is MVP Math Vision Project. I believe it's a place from Utah. This is a module 2, section 4. It's called A Square Deal. Okay, so we're going to be looking at a lot of squares first. Before we start, though, I want you to find me what the area is of this rectangle. It's going to be length here, it's going to be width here. The area is equal to length times width. Whatever the length is, you multiply by the width, correct? Well, let's look at the area of a square now. Well, if it's a square, the side, we call it side, right? Side times side is, the area is side squared. So these are two formulas that you're going to need. Okay, side squared for squares, obviously. You see what they call squares now. And the area of a rectangle is length times width. So let's look at this one really quickly. And I believe your teacher had you do this, right? Let's call this x. Because we don't know what it is. Let's call this each of these 1 unit, okay? This length is the same as that length, so we're going to call it x. What is the area here? It's going to be x squared. Well, if this is length 1 as well, we can say instead of saying 1 plus 1 plus 1, it could be x plus 3, right? You can go x plus 3 as well. Well, that's why you can represent it this way and this way, I think. I think you can represent it some other ways, but that's where we're going to be looking at it for now, okay? So that's that. It says, I'm not going to actually going over these questions right over here, but I'm going to do something else though, okay? Let's look at this problem right here. 2x squared plus 12x plus 13. So what happens is this variable is x right here. And so what do you get? What's x times x? The area of that is x squared. See how this is the area? This whole thing right here. And of course, this is x squared as well. This length is 1. Each of this is 1 units. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I believe there are 12 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And this length is x. So what is 1 times x? The first rectangle you get 1x. And there's a second rectangle you get 1x again. Instead of writing it 1x, I'm just call it x, right? So we're going to add up all of these areas of these rectangles. And what do you end up with? You have 12 of them. You have 12x, right? That's where this comes in. These are 1 units each. There are 13 of them right over here. It's 13 times 1. The length times the width gives it the area is 13. So there goes that 13. And that's how you do it. Simple. So this would be x. So this area would be x squared. How many x squares do you have? You have 3x squared. And this is x right here. This is length of 1. So you have 1x plus 1x plus 1x plus 1x, and you can figure out the rest. This square right there is obviously 1 each. And there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's going to be 10 of those. So the area of that's going to be 10 times 1. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6x and then plus 10. Okay? That's how you do this. The next question. Now we're going to be doing completing a square. It's a little bit different. And it's a little bit tricky too as well. So you have to really watch out. Notice that this right here, I'm going to write it in red. There's a 1x squared, right? That 1 right there is called the leading coefficient. Equals 1 in our case, right? That 1 right there. X squared is 1x squared, so that's the leading coefficient, okay? So if the leading coefficient is 1, here's the rule. You take this b right there, divide it by 2, then square it. So let's actually work it out. You take this number 6, just the number, the coefficient. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and then we square it, right? Which is equal to what? 9. There's not a 9 right there. So it should look something like this. X squared plus 6x plus 9. Do you see that? X squared, we're doing a perfect square now. What do we have to add to 13 or 9 to get to 13? 9 plus what is 13? It's going to be plus 4, right? Plus 4. 9 plus 4 is 13, so this is a completely square portion. Got it? How do we square that? This becomes x squared plus 6x plus 9 becomes x, drop the x without the squared, drop the plus right over here. What's half of 6? It's always half of this coefficient. And here it is. If I distribute this out, I should get x squared plus 6x plus 9. Let's try it. X plus 3 times x plus 3. X times x is x squared. There it is right there. Outer, x times 3 is 3x. Plus another 3x is 6x. 3 times 3 is 9. So x squared plus 6x plus 9. FOIL. Don't forget to FOIL that out. It worked. And then plus 4, of course. I want you to try once by yourself. This is a little tricky on this guy, so don't worry about this guy, okay? Or this guy. For now, or this guy. You should be able to do this one and this one as well. This one gets a little bit tricky. What I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 2 first, everything, because I like the leading coefficient to be 1. So it's something like a of x is equal to, I'm going to go x squared plus 4x plus 7. Now I can complete the square on this guy. Actually, let's do this anyway, okay? It's going to be x squared plus 4x plus something, right? That's called completing the squared. And then plus something. We take the coefficient here, 4. We divide it by 2. What's 4 divided by 2? It's 2. And then we square it, which becomes 2 squared becomes 4, right? So 4 plus what is 7? It's going to be 4 plus 3, right there. So it's going to look something like this. X squared plus 4x plus 4 plus 3. Now we have to factor this. Drop the x without the squared. See that right there? Drop the sign. What's half of this coefficient? Half of 4 is 2 squared. That's it. And then plus 3. Now, here's where we actually get a problem. Because I divided by 2, I have to multiply by 2 right here. I have to multiply this by 2, right? So it actually is 2 times 4 is 8. I actually made a mistake here. It's actually, since this was 8, and it has to get to 14, right? 8 plus what is 14? Since I divided by 2, I have to multiply by 2 here as well. It's going to be 6. So our answer is 2 times x plus 2 squared plus 6. You should be able to do this one and this one and this one by yourself now. Okay? Got it? By the way, it's divisible by 3, 3, and 3 here. So we're done with that. Let's do this guy now. It's a little bit tricky. It says state the y-intercept for each of the graph. So where is the y-intercept located? Well, here's the x-intercept. I'm going to use green. These value right there is called the x-intercept. Okay. Well, where's the y-intercept for the first one? In the blue equation. It's going to be this value right over there. That's your y-intercept. Well, what is the coordinate of that y-intercept? So you have to really count it. You have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It seems to be at 5, right? Can you give me the coordinate of that point right there? It's going to be 0, comma, negative 5. The x direction is 0. Notice that there's nothing on the x direction. And you're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So that's your y-intercept is equal to negative 5. The coordinate form is 0, comma, -5. So, which one gives you a y-intercept of -5? So we set x equal to 0. Notice that right there. I'm going to use pink. X is equal to 0 right there, and which is at 0 right there. So that 0 is for the x0 right there. Which one will give you a y value of -5? Looking at this. Stare at it. 0 squared is 0, plus 2 times 0 is 0, minus 1. This should be 0, -1. Oh, this happens to be your y-intercepts, right? And this is right there. That has a -5. So number 1, the answer is C. Oh, let's get this guy. Just in case, I'll give you 4 more. 2 more. Where's the y-intercept? It should be approximately here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You go up 4. So what's the coordinate? 0, comma 4. And so you see a y-intercept of 4. It's going to be F right there. And that's your answer. Okay? Was that it? Yeah, that was it. So good luck on your homework, guys. And if you want to pass this on to your friends, let me know. Thank you. I mean, you don't have to let me know. Just pass it on to your friends, okay? Or forward the text message. Bye.